Happy Friday, powerful leaders. How was your week? Oh my gosh, we are here. Another episode is dropping, and it's such an exciting one. This next guest, oh my gosh, she just light up my world. She's someone that I met on Instagram like 3 years ago now. I've been following her journey and watching her get married and go on a honeymoon and all the things. You know, those connections where it just goes and you just feel like, wow, this person is amazing. And obviously, I couldn't wait to get her on the show for her to share her story and her genius. She is a mindset and confidence life coach, and she loves to help guide women really get into alignment, into their most happiest, most fulfilled versions of themselves, and really break those unhelpful cycles and get unstuck. Because it's so important to really find your way, find your purpose and your path, and really do something about it. And that's what she helps women do, and she's amazing at what she does. And today in this episode, she talks all about that. She talks about the psychology, how our brains work, the resistance, the patterns that she sees with her clients. It's such an interesting conversation, and I know you will love it. And if you do, make sure to share this episode with a friend, to subscribe, to share the good news. You know, it always means the world to me. And without further ado, let's hit it. Welcome to the Powerful Female Leaders Podcast. I'm your host, Anna Patricia Bourgeois, certified business coach. I am here to help you up-level, generate consistent wealth, increase your confidence, attract dream clients, and master your mindset so that you can fully own your power and achieve next-level results in your online business and beyond. Every week, a powerful conversation will take place with amazing guests, or I'll share from my experience to help inspire you to start and scale the business of your dreams while being powerfully you. The time has come to stop playing small, stop hiding, and stop waiting. Now is the perfect time for you to passionately pursue your heart's desire as the powerful leader you were born to be. Are you ready? Let's do this. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Powerful Female Leaders Podcast. I have a very special guest today. Her name is Jessie, and we've been planning this episode for a while, and I'm so excited that she's here. Hey, girl.
Hey, finally.
Yes, we're doing it. It's happening.
It's finally happening. I think it's been long enough.
Yeah. So let's dive into it. Share with us who you
Yes.
are and what you do, and tell it all.
So I'm Jessie Shibko. I am a mindset and confidence life coach. I help women get unstuck in their lives, gain that confidence, shift their mindsets, just helping women reach their goals, reach their full potential, and live life to the absolute fullest.
Yes, it's so important, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Yeah, so I know you're huge on mindset. Like that's one thing that I've like always looked up to you for. And so what would you say to someone who's like maybe going through that cycle of doubts and overwhelm and overthinking and they cannot like break those habits? Like what would you tell them?
Yeah. So this is coming from someone who healed their own negative mindset patterns. Like
Mm-hmm.
even just 5 years ago, a couple of years ago, I had the worst mindset. I was so like focused on the negatives, complaining all the time. Like every single thing about my day, I focused on what was going wrong, what I was doing wrong. Um,
Mm-hmm.
all of those things, and it's draining. You don't realize how your mindset throughout your day is really just weighing you down and like dictating, honestly, what
Mm-hmm.
comes out with your life, because the energy that you put into the universe is what you get back. And
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't until I finally opened up my journal that's been like collecting dust for years, and focus on gratitude. And when I say gratitude, I'm not talking about like the obvious things like, my support system, my parents, my family,
Mm-hmm.
all those things, of course. But the fresh air to breathe, water to drink,
Mm,
your car, your education if you have it, like all those little things. And when you start focusing on what's going well, what you love about yourself, and that too, like focusing on the self-love and that journaling with your gratitude, because when you start
mhm,
doing those little, they seem little, but it's when you start doing these habits that you
mhm,
start noticing this massive shift in your life, and you start like seeing the world in a completely different light. And that's what mindset is. And when I am working with my clients, and when people come up to me, wanting to focus on cultivating this, better mindset, and how can I, start manifesting what I want, and,
mhm,
getting what I want, it starts with those little exercises, starting with the gratitude,
mhm,
starting with like the self love. And something that I do often with my clients is journaling at the end of the night. What went
mm,
well in the day, because what it does is you start going about your day looking for the positive things that happen. So you
mhm,
have something to write, and instead of like going to bed, just like dread, like just focus on the negative. Oh, it was such an awful day. Like this and this happened. I got cut off, on my way home
mhm,
from work, and you know, is- whatever else happened. So when you
mhm.
start noticing that you just start noticing a shift. And when your mindset shifts, like the world just seems better and lighter. Things just start like opening up for
Yeah.
you. It's so it seems like too good to be true. Like, okay, so I start focusing on mindset and all of these things, and all of a sudden things are gonna like fall into my lap. Yes. um and why is because the opportunities were always there, right? But when
Mm,
you shift your energy and your focus, you are
mm.
more open to accepting them. If that makes sense. That
Yes.
was like a really long like explanation to your question, but it's like mindset is something that I think is so powerful, and every single person can
Yeah.
benefit from just trying to look at the world a little bit differently. Because I think, in this day and age, we're so focused on the negatives, and, it's
Yeah.
so like a cultural norm to complain. And, it's almost like, we're in competition to who had the worst day, or, who's in the worst
Mm.
position. It's like, why are we doing that? Life is
Yeah.
so much better when you look at it in a different light.
Girl, yes. Like our brain loves the drama.
So, um, yes, and fun fact is our brains can actually be addicted to stress, can be addicted to the drama.
Mm.
Um, and this is where I put my psychology background into my work, is
Mhm.
because, nobody wants to be stressed, right? Like, we don't desire that.
Mhm.
Nobody wants to be overwhelmed. Nobody, you know, wants to be in, a financially bad situation. But like, we actually get addicted to that, and it's weird. And
Mm.
we when we don't have it, when our brains don't have it, we're like, oh my gosh, like I need to go out and look for that, if that makes sense. And that's how mindset can
Mhm.
also help shift that, because you start accepting the good things, realizing that not everything has to
Mm.
be bad. um
Yeah.
so I think the human brain is fascinating. I'm constantly
Yeah.
like learning about it, but once we learn how our brains operate, no, there's nothing that you can't do once you learn how to do that, because you can reprogram your thoughts. Like, research used to think that our brains stop developing at like 25,
Oh
but
wow.
that's not true. Like, your brain is continuing to develop and grow, create new neural pathways, which I think is fascinating.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
bring that control back
It
into
is.
your life. Like, when you realize that you're more in control of your life than you really think, like,
Mhm.
it's incredible.
Yeah, it is. It is so fascinating. And I love that you actually talked about your psychology background because I actually wanted to talk about it. And
Yeah.
it's so fascinating. And it's so like, I'm so curious to learn more about our brains and how it works and why we act the way we act. And yeah, I'm glad that you brought it up. And yeah, I was
Yeah.
wondering, like, growing up, like, did you imagine that you'd be where you are today?
So, Yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew from when I was in high school that I wanted to be in a helping profession because I
Mm-hmm.
was just that person in the friend group that, everyone came to for advice, and I loved it. I loved it when people, vented to me and, wanted to know what to do in certain situations. And I honestly didn't realize that most people thought that was annoying. Like, I don't want to hear about your problems, but I did. And it was then when I was like, oh, I want to be a psychologist. So my um, original path was to be like a therapist,
Mm-hmm.
to be like a counselor. So that's why I went to college and got my degree in psychology. Loved it, excelled in the program. Um, and when I got into clinical work, I realized that I didn't like the clinical setting, but
Mm.
um the journey led me to doing this and being a life coach, and I think it's like the perfect
Yeah.
situation for me, um because I'm still able to use that psychology background, and
Mm-hmm.
it's really cool to help guide my clients you know
Mm-hmm.
throughout all of that. And I literally bring up like
Yeah.
psychology terms to help them work through whatever it is that
Yeah.
they're going through. So
And do you
um
notice like any patterns between your clients?
yes, so the self-sabotaging behavior.
Mm.
So so we all have a deep internal belief about ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's called the self-fulfilling prophecy. I believe it's either that or the confirmation bias, but it kind of means the same thing, where like we have a belief
Mm-hmm.
about ourselves and we go um out into the world, and we only focus on the pieces of information that confirms that belief,
Mm.
and then our subconscious will also have us act in a way that confirms that belief, if that makes sense.
Mm.
So for example, like if you're wanting to create a habit of getting up early, going to the gym, all of these healthy habits, but you have this deep belief that you're lazy, you're never going to be able to do that, you're just not that type of a person. When you start getting ready for bed, you're going to notice like, okay, I'm going to like scroll on my phone for
Mm.
longer. My mind is going to start thinking about something, and I'm going to scroll on my phone a little bit longer, then I'm like staying up later, and then I can't fall asleep because I'm beating myself up because like I didn't do what I said I was going to do. And then I can't get out of bed, and then I pick up my phone while I'm laying in bed when my alarm goes off. And so you like do these things that
Mhm.
actually confirms that internal belief, and then you're like, yes, I am lazy. I'm not
Mm.
that person that can do this. And then if that does that make sense,
Yeah.
that's the best way that I can explain. And I noticed that's similar amongst all of my clients, is that's why they have a hard time getting out of the cycle, getting unstuck, is because they're not breaking those thought patterns.
Mm.
Those are habitual. They're literally like neural pathways in our brains that like you have to break it, you have to stop it, so
Mm.
you can create new neural pathways, create new habits that are different. And that's what I help my clients do.
Girl, this is so powerful because you're going straight to the source, you know?
Yes, yes, go to the source. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, this is so powerful. And yeah, I love, love, love that. And I always ask this to everyone who comes on the show. And I'm curious to know your answer. Like for
Mhm.
you, what does it mean to be a powerful leader?
So I have been thinking about this a lot because, to be honest, I have never considered myself to be a leader. And, to be on a podcast called, such a thing as Powerful Female Leaders, I'm like,
Mhm.
what am I doing here? But, I think to be a leader, it's really to be yourself. It's as
Mm.
simple as that. Because when you're yourself, other people can realize that they can be themselves. And I think I've positioned myself as a leader just by being me and learning to love me, and just not being afraid to be myself, and loving the things that make me unique and quirky. And because I've always thought that I was like a little bit awkward, but like I love my awkwardness. And I think when people see that, it kind of empowers them to be themselves. I hope. That's my hope, is that
I
people can be
love it.
themselves.
Yeah, it's so like beautiful and straight to the point because so many people are afraid to be
Yeah.
themselves and they're afraid of the judgment and what people will say.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're brave and courageous and you're showing up and you're sharing your story and you're putting yourself out there,
Yeah.
that's what true leaders do,
Yeah.
no matter how scary it is, for
It is
sure.
scary. And,
Mhm.
I'm definitely noticing a shift, though. I feel like a
Mhm.
lot of people are beginning to be more open, um, to just being themselves, um,
Mhm. Ugh, so
which I
good.
love, to see. I think it's been a long time coming, but
Yeah.
yeah, I just love it. I love it when people are themselves and show up and challenge themselves and see what they can do. So
Mhm. Yeah, I love it. So, what are you working on now? Like, what's next for Jessie? Like, what's fun and cool? And if do you have any projects coming up soon?
yeah, so I have recently been diving really into my blog posts and creating guides and resources for people to use, because I've
Mhm.
learned that I have this passion for writing and I'm such a good writer. I don't know what it is, and I just get so in flow with it. And I have all of these, I have literally like 20 resources and guides that I've started putting together with like creating habits and self-discovery and organization, all like everything under the lifestyle umbrella. I've literally started creating these things. And um
Wow.
also like self-guided options, because I'm noticing that a lot of people are wanting more kind of like do it yourself kind of options. So I'm putting
Yeah.
together more like video
Mhm.
trainings that people can just go through on their own, and guides and
Mhm.
resources and blog posts. So that's what I'm working on. I still have my one-to-one coaching that I have open, but I've really been passionate currently
Mhm.
in those resources and writing, because I just something about that creativity that just is really lighting up an interest for me right now.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Like when I get that hit of
That is
like, ooh, I should do this. I'm feeling creative. Like that's where I
right.
go and like amazing things happen,
It
when you
is.
follow those nudges.
It is, and, like, there's nothing that compares to the flow that you get into when you've been, like, just at your computer, like, building something or doing whatever, and then all of a sudden 4 or 5 hours
Yeah.
have passed, and you're like, "What happened? Like, where did that go?" And you've, like, done all of this stuff, but it is fun. There's nothing that compares to,
Mhm.
diving into your creative genius. And, um, I'm really passionate about passions. I encourage
Yeah.
everyone to, um really make sure that they are including their passions in their life, because I think when we get into adulthood, we
Mm.
forget about it. You
Yeah.
get a hit. Those happy chemicals get released whenever you're in your passions. And I'm always recommending people like at least like include it somewhere, like whether it's, writing or painting or,
Yeah.
whatever it is. And I think a lot of people also don't know what it is, like what their passions are.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that you say that because when I was younger, like my passion was dancing. Like I
Mm.
used to have like all these dance classes and stuff. And recently I went to like a hip hop class and I had like a blast, girl. I was like, I should do this
Yes,
more often.
yes. Like you should honestly,
Yeah.
and I'm not talking like anything crazy like, oh, 5
Yeah.
times a week, 2 hours a day on your passions, but like
Mhm.
you should absolutely, because it's like it's crazy what it does to your brain. You feel
Mhm.
happier. You feel more alive. You feel like you're not just going through the motions, because I think a lot of people get to that too, is they just feel like they're going through the motions of life, and oh,
Mhm.
adulting is so horrible, which it's not fun at times, but like
Mhm.
okay, let's do something fun. But what lights you up? What makes you get into flow? And that's just what I encourage a lot of people um,
Yeah.
to think about, because I had to think about it. I'm like, okay, I'm encouraging other people to get into their passions, but what are mine? So it's like
Yeah.
one of those things where we have to get back into that,
Mhm.
think about our passions, because we think, okay, we're too old, life is
Yeah.
too busy to think about passions, but
All the excuses.
absolutely. See, this is what people don't realize is that those things are so like realistic. That people are
Mhm.
like, yeah, no, I don't have time. I don't have the energy. Who like I have all these other things to do. How can I think about my passions? Like what?
Mhm.
That um, but it is an excuse, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, if you're scrolling on Instagram, you have time. If you are binge watching Netflix, you have time.
Mhm.
If you're doing, whatever else, you have time. And it doesn't take
You do.
a lot of time. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's what I also think is important, is people getting called out on the excuses that they don't realize are excuses, because it's
Mm.
unbelievable, right? Because
Yeah,
everyone's like,
totally.
I've got, every minute of my day is planned and, whatever. Is it
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, I love that you said that. Like, I love to give like tough love, like, and
Yes.
just be straight and be real and be like, girl, you do have the time.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
think that's like, people, I think, love and hate that about me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not afraid to call that out.
Yeah.
Like I will challenge that. And if someone is really busy, we've always find a way. I've never not been able to find a way to help someone like
Yeah.
fit something into their schedule that makes them feel really good.
Exactly. Exactly. It's just about like what you see as a priority. Like, is your happiness a priority? You
Yeah.
know?
Yes, absolutely. We put ourselves and our happiness on the back burner so much because of, all these other commitments that adulting brings us. But we are here on earth. We didn't ask to be here, but we were brought here for a reason. We were not brought here just to go through the
Mhm.
motions of life, right? Like, we all
Yeah.
have a purpose.
Yeah.
Like, why not, like, enjoy it? Like, we're,
Yeah. And
like,
life is so short too.
it is. And like, when you think about like the scientific like percentage um of chance of like you being here, you with your DNA, the only person that will ever have your like DNA to ever like walk this earth, to be here, um is like insane.
Mm.
Like, why not like just try to enjoy it a little bit? Get into your passions. Take a dance class once a
Yeah.
month. You
Yeah, do
know?
it. You deserve it.
Yes! Oh my gosh. Like, everyone deserves it.
Totally, totally. Ah, this is
Yeah.
so good. This conversation is giving me life, girl.
Yes! Doesn't it make you just wanna go out there and, like, go to a
Yeah.
dance class? I love that you said that. I'm like, so I was a dancer, like, I did ballet growing up, but in
You
terms
did?
of, like, and I did, like, jazz and, like, tap a little bit, but, like, in terms of going to, like, a Zumba class or something, or, like, any kind of,
Mhm.
like, hip hop, right? I'm so awkward. Like, I don't just, like, I can't believe that I was, like, a dancer, but it was ballet is so different. Was that, so what kind of dance
Yeah.
class was it?
Oh, I did ballet,
Oh,
jazz, hip hop, salsa, merengue, bachata, like all the things.
all of it.
All of
So,
it.
yes. What kind of dance did you do? Yes.
Ah, amazing. So, do you have, like any last piece of wisdom that you truly want to share with our audience today?
I think I covered a lot of it, but, you
Mhm.
know, I just want everybody to know that, you're here for a reason,
Mhm.
and you have this unique set of talents and strengths and skills, um,
Mhm.
that you might not even realize. Um,
Mhm.
and the world needs it. You have to ask yourself, like, what do you want your legacy to be? Like, what? do you want to look back on your life on and think, you know, yeah, I lived my life to the best that I could. I was happy. I actually lived. I didn't just go through the motions. And you know, it's something
Mm.
that we don't ask ourselves on a normal basis. You kind of have to prompt yourself.
Mhm.
Um, but it's this is kind of a morbid thought. But like, if you were given 6 months to live, would you be living your life a little bit differently? You know,
Mm.
would you be enjoying life a little bit more? Would you, you know, take your happiness a little bit more seriously? Um,
Mm.
you know, things. It is a morbid thought, but I think it's an important one. Um,
Yeah.
you know, because we go through the motions of our days, you know, just not really thinking in that way. Like, of course, but like, you have a life to
Mhm.
live. Don't just go through the motions, right? Um,
Exactly.
get into your talents, get into
So
your
good.
skills, um, because you're worth it, right? You're here
Yes.
for a reason. Um, and get out there and just enjoy. Be happy. And if
Love it.
you're happy,
That's amazing.
yeah.
So, where can people go to connect with you?
Yes.
Because I know they're going to want to connect for sure.
Yes. So, my main platform is Instagram. My handle is it's Coach Jessie. My website is jessieshibko.com. And I also have a blog, blissfullyjess.com, where I have all of my lifestyle tips and strategies and everything. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Amazing. Go follow Jessie.
Yes.
She's a love and light. She lights up my world.
Oh my.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, now you light up my world. Oh my gosh.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Powerful Female Leaders podcast. If you love this episode, make sure to spread the message, leave a review, and subscribe. I would forever be grateful for you. I also want to hear from you, and I want to know your feedback and your questions for future episodes. So don't be shy, say hi, and send me a message at Powerful Female Leaders Podcast on Instagram. Until then, I'll see you on the next episode.